Forgotten gesture of power. Have you ever wondered why, in the oldest temples, statues of sages, gods, and initiates so often conceal or gesture with their left hand? Not in flamboyance, but in stillness, subtle, deliberate, and hidden. What were they trying to say, or not say? Because in the language of the mysteries, the left hand was never simply a limb. It was a symbol. A cipher. A vessel of concealed force. Ancient masters across Egypt, India, and the shadowed temples of Mesopotamia believed the left hand held a key, not to action, but to reception. It was the hand of mystery, of inwardness, of the feminine force that receives rather than projects. And so, they spoke little of it in public, but taught much in silence. In occult traditions, the right hand blesses, commands, and reaches outward. It is the hand of daylight, of public ritual, of masculine will. But the left? The left was lunar, nocturnal, veiled. It held the secret contracts made with the unseen, the energies absorbed, not declared. This is why in esoteric alchemy, the left path was never simply evil, as pop culture misrepresents. It was the path of the inward spiral, the descent into the self, the confrontation with the hidden. To understand why the ancients hid their deepest knowledge in the left hand, we must walk where few dare to look, into the mysteries of polarity, power, and the hand that receives the divine. In nearly every spiritual tradition, the body is seen as a mirror of the cosmos, a living temple where divine energies flow through channels both visible and invisible. And in this sacred anatomy, the left and right hands were never treated equally. The right hand, governed by the logical, conscious mind, was associated with the sun, action, and dominance. It moves outward, pushes, directs. That's why blessings in religious rituals are almost always given with the right hand. It is the hand of the priest, the one that commands divine order into the world. But the left hand, that was different. Governed by the intuitive, subconscious mind and linked to the moon, the left hand was a portal, soft, silent, and receptive. It absorbs rather than emits. It listens where the right hand speaks. This division wasn't superstition. It was mystical symbolism, deliberate and precise. In ancient Egypt, the left side of the body was seen as the gateway to the hidden world. Priests in the temples of Thoth were trained to perform certain rituals only with the left hand, believing it allowed them to pull knowledge from the invisible. In Tantric Buddhism, mudras, sacred hand gestures, often involve the left hand forming the bowl or base, while the right hand manipulates energy above it. The left hand holds space. It gathers power. It receives transmission from the unseen planes. And in Hermetic magic, the initiate was taught to keep the left hand veiled during early rituals. Not because it was forbidden, but because it had not yet been prepared. Only after purification and deep inner work was the left hand revealed, now capable of holding the sacred flame without corruption. These aren't just myths or metaphors. They are maps. Maps showing how the ancients understood the polarity within us, the dance between the hand that gives and the hand that takes in, between the sun and the moon, between conscious will and hidden power. And they understood something else, too. The deeper you go into esoteric traditions, the more you'll notice this pattern. The left hand begins to appear not just in sacred rituals, but in the symbols and warnings that surround forbidden knowledge. In Western occultism, particularly during the medieval and Renaissance periods, the left hand became associated with what was called the left-hand path, a term that has been deeply misunderstood. To most, it sounds sinister. But in its true form, it was never about evil. It was about sovereignty. While the right-hand path seeks union with the divine through surrender, obedience, and gradual purification, the left-hand path dares to seek divinity through self-deification, by confronting the shadows within, by embracing taboo, and by mastering rather than obeying spiritual law. This is why secret societies often encoded the left hand into their initiation rituals. In some Gnostic sects, initiates would place their left hand over their heart. Not as a sign of allegiance to a god outside themselves, but as a vow to awaken the divine spark within. Even the feared image of Baphomet, the androgynous figure in occult symbology, holds its left hand upward with the word solviti coagula, meaning dissolve and combine. The left hand dissolves illusion, while the right hand reassembles truth. It's not that the left hand was dark, it's that it was honest. It was unfiltered. It was the hand you used when you didn't want the outer world to see what you were touching, when you were tracing the lines of your own soul in the dark. The ancients didn't fear the left hand, they respected it. They cloaked it. Because they knew that the greatest mysteries were not found in the open hand of blessing, but in the closed hand of silence. And now, in our modern world of distraction and spectacle, most have forgotten what the left hand once held. But the mystics remembered. And so can you. The ancients didn't preserve knowledge to be admired, they preserved it to be used. So if the left hand truly is a gateway to inner power, how do we begin to work with it? There's a simple, powerful technique rooted in both Hermetic and yogic teachings. You don't need candles, crystals, or elaborate rituals. You only need stillness, intention, and your left hand. Here's how to begin. Sit in silence, preferably at night or during twilight, times when the lunar energy of the left hand is most active. Place your left hand, palm up, on your lap or just above your solar plexus. Keep the right hand still and resting. Now, breathe slowly and deeply, focusing all awareness into your left palm. Imagine it opening, not just physically, but energetically. With each inhale, feel as though your left hand is drawing in energy, not from outside, but from a deeper realm. Some describe it as pulling light from beneath the surface of the world, others as drawing memory from the soul itself. After 7 to 10 minutes, you may begin to feel a tingling, warmth, or subtle pulsing in the palm. That's not imagination. That's your etheric circuitry awakening. This is not a quick fix. It's a practice, one that rewires your relationship to silence, intuition, and receptivity. As you continue, you may notice heightened dreams, spontaneous insights, or even an internal shift in how you perceive energy. And perhaps, over time, you'll begin to understand why ancient initiates kept their left hand hidden, and why what it holds can only be received, not taught. The hand that holds the mystery. The left hand is more than a symbol, it's a secret door. It does not shout. It does not command. It whispers. It is the hand that holds the invisible thread, the one that leads you inward, through shadow and silence, until you find what the mystics called the light beneath the veil. And once you've felt that light in your own palm, you'll understand. Not all power is meant to be seen. Some of it is meant to be held in silence. By the left hand.